Hello and welcome to yet another interaction focused on accelerating innovations and building an intuitive and smart DC strategy across core, edge, and cloud. I am Ankush Kumar, editor of Tech Observer magazine. I am joined by a very special guest, Mr. Harsh Vaishnav. Mr. Vaishnav leads the cloud infrastructure and software group architecture for the commercial and small business vertical for India and SAARC at Cisco. He has more than 18 years of experience in infrastructure solutions, storage, virtualization, and automation technologies. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Vaishnav. So let me begin by asking you, a lot of things seems to have changed over the last 10 months due to pandemic. What are your assessment of the impact of pandemic on the data center operations?
So I think you're spot on, and it's not just a normal shift. I'd like to call it a sort of tectonic shift that we're seeing with with completely new ways of working, and I think living life in general. I also see that the rules of doing business have completely been rewritten in this digital age, right? And this is the time when we are seeing that the applications are business and not just enablers like it used to be in the earlier times. Depending on the customer type, depending on the industry that they are into, depending on the size, scale, complexity, the challenges are myriad. And for some, the future is a little bit of a challenge. But the good thing is that it is not unresolved. From a business standpoint, around not just data center, but from the overall IT landscape perspective, I think there are three things that we're currently seeing. The first being workplace ubiquity. Whether you work from home or for that matter an alternate location, which could be a place like Goa for that matter, or for that matter in some cases the environment around blended working, right, between office and home. That's one thing that we are seeing increasingly taking center stage. What is most important here is the fact that work needs to be needs to be happening non-stop, right? So that's the first shift that we're seeing, and that also has some sort of an impact on the data center piece. The other thing that we're seeing, which is again a massive shift, is the fact that the applications are taking center stage. These are times when every IT team that's serving either internal or external customers is concerned about, I think, only one thing at a very high level, right? And that is about how do I ensure consistent, performant, and secure application delivery. And this now needs to be done irrespective of where you work. For that matter, for example, if you're on base LAN, if you work on a remote VPN, and look at the level of complexity, right? Because things tend to change a bit depending on the residency of the application also, whether it is on-prem, whether it is on cloud, or for that matter in a multi-cloud world. So the emergence of applications as being business and not just enablers is, I think, the second big shift that we're seeing. The third thing is the fact that everybody is laser focused around preserving capital. What started with people scrambling for a response to the current problem has now moved to a stage where everyone is looking to optimize. And it's not just limited to optimization, it is also getting extended to evangelizing at the same time. So on one hand, you are asked to think different, you're asked to think long term, you're asked to think in such a way that you put in a blueprint, and at the same time the envelope is shrinking, right? So keeping the cost down and preserving capital is paramount, and all of this will have some sort of an underpinning onto the DC strategy, right? So these are the three areas, in my opinion, which are getting massive transformations, or which are seeing massive transformations.
You talked about ensuring consistent performance and secure app delivery, which is one of the most important things. And there must be other challenges as well. So how do you help your customers mitigate the challenges posed by the pandemic?
Well, it's generally said that you can't have a permanent solution to a problem that's temporary, and I would like to believe that this is a temporary problem. The silver lining being not just the discovery or the whole discussions around vaccine, but given the fact that we are now at a stage where the vaccine is now being administered to people also, right? So yeah, things are very different at this point in time. To your question around how are we engaged with our customers to mitigate some of these problems, and these problems could be, you know, near term, mid term, or longish term for some of our customers, right? So the way we see things happening, and the way we've defined some of these challenges are typically around, again, three things, three environments, or three pillars, if you may. The one is about supporting workforce transformation. This is essentially built on the premise that users now need to be given what they want, when they want, on the device of their choice, and most importantly, in an extremely secure manner. So the one big solution that ticks all of these and stands out as an enabler is VDI. We work very closely with some of our ecosystem partners such as Citrix, ACOPS, and even VMware to power the VDI solutions on our platforms like HyperFlex, which is Cisco's world-class offering on hyperconvergence, and a unified computing system, which is the compute platform in case the customer wants to look at a three-tiered architecture. If you add some of the other technologies from our security portfolio, and the name that comes to my mind immediately is Cisco Duo, for example, as one of the double factor authentication engine, it in a way helps our customers build an extremely secure posture. And obviously, to add to this is the extension of one of the best collaboration platforms like WebEx, the platform that we are currently talking on, kind of lends a wholesome flavor to this particular pillar of transformation, which is around workforce. The second thing is around workload transitions, and I have just belabored the significance of application, and hence I'm not going to kind of go over it again. But with solutions like App Dynamics, Intersite Workload Optimizer, and application-centric infrastructure, we not just help our customers to kind of go through these workload transitions, but we also give them the ability to offer deterministic workload performance. This in the process, or these solutions in the process, also help our customers not just look at ensuring the delivery of performant applications, but in the mid to longer term, also help our customers to look at reducing cost. Because if you remember, I spoke about how important is preserving capital, right? So a tool that one gives them deterministic performance. The other aspect that it solves is the whole problem around cost optimization, and it also looks at reducing complexity irrespective of scale, irrespective of location. So that's the second thing, which is workload transition. And the third is around workplace transformation. There are a bunch of solutions that get powered by our product portfolio that includes unified computing system, which is Cisco's offering on the compute platform. And if you kind of extend it with some of the networking portfolios, you could run a solution like surveillance. You could run some analytics on top of it, and in the process, extract and deliver meaningful contextual outcomes that may ease this whole process of returning to office. In a sense, whether it is workforce, whether it is workload, or for that matter, workplace, and the transitions associated with these three pillars, I firmly believe that we are in a position to tell you that we have your back.
Absolutely. Probably the last question. What are the three things that you believe are keeping the CIOs busy, and how can Cisco help with their DC and cloud blueprints?
So, Ankush, I'd be very honest when I tell you this, that when we faced the situation, none of us were ready with an answer, right? So this has been a big learning experience for all of us. We've been talking and learning with and from our customers and partners. However, there are a few overtones and commonalities as far as concerns or areas of focus that we see coming out in our conversations with the C-suite. The first thing that I see popping out in most of my conversation is around the increased amount of focus around automation, right? This pandemic has actually accelerated the need and adoption of automation across various different areas, whether it is around the infrastructure piece, where people said, let's start looking at putting an automation layer wherever possible in our infrastructure landscape, so that we could start looking at various different areas of optimization. The need for the cloud, for example, is also a clear indication that everybody is concerned around, or everybody wants to lay emphasis around automation. Or for that matter, the example that I gave you around operations, where everybody wants to look at the amount and the scale of automation that they could bring into the operations, so that things that go wrong typically with human errors and eventually lead to downtimes, eventually lead to a huge cost that is associated with downtimes, can be completely avoided. So this will continue in my personal opinion, and we'll see significant traction going forward. The second thing that I hear increasingly when I talk to the CIOs, CIOs as well as our partners, is the fact that everybody is looking at how can they use the power of analytics and drive something meaningful within their enterprise, right? This is a big area of focus for everybody. I have spoken to customers who happen to be from the healthcare industry, who happen to be from the insurance industry, or for that matter, even customers from manufacturing, where they talk about merging the IT and the OT landscape, and then looking at ways and means to harness the power of machine learning and layer it on top of that with analytics, and eventually drive business better than it has ever been, and obviously get a differentiated edge. So analytics is the number two thing that I see increasingly being spoken about in those conversations. And third is the fact that everybody is razor focused around delivering a non-compromised experience. Business in the digital world, as we all have now seen and understood, is very different, right? Whether it is modern applications or whether it is looking at re-engineering the applications, this I believe will trigger many changes that one needs to be really focused on. However, what will remain constant is the need to drive insights, the need to ensure performance, and the need to be compliant and secure more than ever, right? Especially because of the massive proliferation of applications. In a sense, I think the intent will be to drive simplicity amidst this massive complexity. So, yeah, three things to sum up that I feel the C-suite is really concerned about, or is looking forward to, is automation, analytics, and non-compromised experience.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Vaishnav, for sharing your views on building an intuitive and a smart data center strategy across core, edge, and cloud. We look forward to hosting you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ankush, and you have a great day.